Okay, well, it's later in the day on level 3 exam results release day. I thought I'd let everybody get their results, let them reflect on it, and then put the video out at the end of the day. I'll spend the first two screens talking to those who did not pass. If you move your mouse to the bottom of the screen on the timeline, there are chapters. They'll highlight you. For those who did pass, you can move right to the section where I speak with you. So the next exam window is February 2023. That's about 200 days away. Now I have had some questions. Should I register for December or re-register for February or wait for the next sitting? Look, you're not starting from zero, right? So 200 days is more than enough time. There's no point in waiting. I don't know that there's any upside to having more time. So February is the window. So register for February 2023. Again, you're not starting from zero. No need to wait past February. If you are a subscriber on our site, click on My Account, left menu, My Account. On the next screen, you'll see a bunch of menu items. The second last menu item is 1 fee to pass. Click on that. It'll guide you through the steps you need to automatically extend your subscription to February 2023. And like it says, 1 fee to pass. If you did not pass, you do not pay again to extend to the next window. If you just didn't sit, in other words, May came around, you weren't prepared, and you thought, why should I go sit in a room for 4.5 hours? I'm not going to make it anyways. You didn't sit. Just use Contact Us, because the 1 fee to pass is going to require a document that you don't have. So just use Contact Us and we'll take it from there. You may want to consider, at least for our subscribers, you may want to consider academic counseling. We have individuals, I think 16 or 17 individuals, who are graduates within the last couple of years, graduates of level 3 that now have their charter. You can spend an hour with them. It's only 65 Canadian for 1 hour, which is about, I think, 50 bucks US based on the exchange rate. So if you have questions about, what should I do differently? How can I structure my time? I have all of these other constraints in my life. I have these demands and these demands. What can I do? Speaking with one of them may help. I mean, they've been through it. They can sort of help you review what you've done and maybe offer some guidance based on what they did that gets them through. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper on the did not pass. The first group of people are the people who recognize that they weren't prepared to begin with, but they gave it their best shot. So I've heard from a few who said, well, I didn't pass, but I didn't expect to. I wasn't prepared. I'm all set to go for February, which I think is the right thing to do. You recognize that you weren't prepared, and, well, you're going to fix that now. 200 days, so don't fall victim to the calendar again where you say, oh, well, it's not till February. It's only July right now. I'll start November or December. No. You need to have a plan and work it from this point onwards. Another group, first time writing, did not pass, but instead of saying, no, I wasn't prepared, no, I was prepared, I just didn't make it. It surprised me. Typically, it's the AM exam. If you didn't make it, not always. Typically, it's the AM exam. So just ask yourself, did you finish the AM exam, or did you leave some questions unanswered because you ran out of time? And if you're running out of time, it means you're writing way too much for the answer. And it's a shame that it's called the essay exam, because they're really not essays. It is a structured response exam. There is a very particular structure to the response. If you're writing 50, 60 words, you're already wasting time. Every answer is no more than 10, 15, 20 words maximum. 2 bullet points maximum. 3 if you don't have the English language and you feel you need to write a little bit more. But that's about it. Once you start getting into 4, 5, 6 bullet points, you are wrong. And you're wasting time and you're not going to finish. So typically it's the AM exam because you approached it wrong, or you felt the need in the answer to teach the grader the answer, holding a little tutoring session in the answers to really prove to the grader that you knew the answer. Your job is not to teach the grader the answer. Your job is to tell the grader the answer in the fewest words and the most direct way possible. And the idea behind structured response is that there is a very direct answer, and that's the one that you have to give. If you were a subscriber on our site, did you attend the office hours, and did you attend the drop-in sessions for the mock exams? I have spoken to a few who were subscribers who didn't make it. When I say spoken, usually I mean text, through LinkedIn. I asked, did you attend the office hours or drop-in sessions? The answer is usually no. Well, they're there. They're included as part of your subscription. There are 68 live hours for the 5 to 6 weeks before each level 3 exam. I hold 68 live hours, office hours. We cover a bunch of different sections that candidates usually have trouble with, and it's an open question and answer. And I stay on the session until I get through all the questions. Those are extremely valuable. You have to use them. So if you didn't for May, as you're preparing for February, make sure you click on office hours and drop-in session, and you look at the schedule, and whatever calendar system you use, make sure you block that amount of time off and have alerts so that you don't forget, so your calendar alerts you to it. But these are absolutely important to attend because you may have a question that you don't know the answer to. That's where you get it answered. Or even better is you may not know you have a question until you hear somebody else ask the question. Then you think, oh, I never thought of that. Or another alternative is you may think you know the answer to a question until you actually hear the answer. Then you might say, oh, I've been thinking about it the wrong way. Because if you've been reviewing something that you think you understand, but your understanding is wrong, it doesn't matter how well you are prepared. If you're well prepared with the wrong understanding, well, you're not going to get very far with that, right? Are you learning and reviewing the proper understanding at the proper depth? I've said many times, you are not going to memorize your way through level 3. It's not that kind of level. That you do have to have that deeper understanding of what is going on. You have to understand the relationship between the concepts and not just memorize what this is and what that is, or what these 3 rules are, or what those 2 rules. You have to use them. You have to understand them and see them in a little bit more depth. So these are absolutely critical. If you were not one of our subscribers, there's not much I can say on that respect, because I don't really know what resources you had available or how you prepared. But I will say it is typically the AM exam for those that do not pass, if that was your first time. I have run across individuals who've had multiple attempts and they still haven't made it. So I ask, well, how did you prepare? It's very rare that we have individuals with multiple attempts, because I would recognize their names very quickly. With the 1 feet of completion, we can see who's going through, so I would recognize them very quickly. Typically, there are specific sections. So when I'm speaking with multiple attempts, I'm usually speaking to candidates out there who either self-study or have used another provider, or maybe their workplace bought access to a provider, but they never actually used it. What sections are you having trouble with? Usually it's a particular section or 2 or 3 sections, but it's usually not the whole thing. So usually you might say, well, these 3 or 4 topics I always do very well, but it's these over here I just can't seem to get my head around. Consider adding some tutoring hours. If you're a subscriber on our site, we have low-cost tutoring, the lowest you're going to find in the industry, 65 Canadian for tutoring. After August 3rd at 11:30 a.m. in the morning, after August 3rd, all our prices get converted to US dollars, because we were bought by a US company. We have maintained our Canadian pricing up to this point, but at some point we knew that our pricing would convert into US dollars. So on August 3rd, I think at 9:30 in the morning, for 2 hours, our billing, our purchase part of our site, not our site, just the purchase, just the online store will be offline for a couple hours while we switch everything over from Canadian to US and redirect to a different, that has to be redirected to different accounts. It'll be 52 US for the tutoring after that instead of 65 Canadian. We're just converting at an average exchange rate that exists at this point. So you have, it wouldn't matter if you bought before or after, considering the exchange rate, it's the same amount anyways. I'm just preparing you now that if on August 4th you go in to our site and you see different numbers than what I have written here, if you see 52 instead of the 65, understand that we have converted from Canadian pricing to US based pricing. And understand this, for those who've had multiple attempts, you have passed level 1 and level 2. So it's not you. It's not that you lack some ability to get this done. It's something in your process, or you have some blind spots where you think you understand a particular topic, but if you continually score low in that particular topic, you're missing something. Either you're missing something in the process of how you're approaching it, or you have particular blind spots where you may have learned it wrong, and it's very difficult to unlearn something and relearn it again, especially when you believe that you have it right. It's difficult to break yourself from that. So getting a different perspective, having somebody else you explain it to someone and they can say, okay, I see where you're missing something. Now here's how to think about it, or hearing it explained a different way perhaps might uncover those blind spots. So there we are. Listen, I said it on the previous screen, I'm going to say it again. This is your last exam. You're not going to quit. Quitting is simply not an option at this point. So you're going to re-register. I see no reason to wait past February. So that's the only option you have. The only decision you have to make is when you're going to start. And take a week or two off. That's fine, but don't take a month or two off. Take a week or two off and then get back at it. All right. For those of you who have passed, that's it. That's the last exam that you have to sit for. It's all behind you. Job done. Many of you already have your 3 years experience behind you. I've noticed that on LinkedIn, some people who have passed have already got their charter at the same time because they've already had the 3 years. They'd already gone through the process of verifying that. So you are done with that part of your journey. The learning never stops because markets are dynamic, markets change. No situation is ever like the last situation you saw. If it was, there'd be no need for people like you and me. Everything would be an algorithm, and you wouldn't be pursuing a CFA designation, you'd be pursuing a computer science designation. Markets just don't work that way. It will humble you again and again and again. No matter how smart you are, the markets will humble you. So it's a continual learning experience. Every week on Sunday, I upload a market update. It's a video. It's about 1 to 2 hours long. It's very, very applied. Everything in that video, we start with rates. Where's the yield curve? What does it look like? How long has it been inverted? Where's the 2 to the 10? We look at real yields, look at break-evens, we look at the housing market, we look at a bunch of things, a bunch of economic reports that came out during the week. We dive into those reports, see if we can gain a better understanding of what's going on in there. So there's still a lot of good learning to be done, heavily applied from all levels of CFA. That's up on my YouTube channel every Sunday. So you may want to watch some of that. You might find that interesting. And on Wednesday, I have started issuing follow-up Q&A videos. So when this is released, the comments come in. Well, what about this? What about that? How is this? How is that? And I'll take a number of these questions. And on Wednesday, I put out another video answering those particular comments. So we can dive into, a particular question a little bit deeper. There is also the Applied series, which is up on the site. The first module is already up. There are 6 modules that are going to be part of the Applied series. The first one is done, Applied Options. That's complete. It updates over time, so there'll be more updates to it. The second module, these are case studies, mid-August 2022 to mid-October. It's over an 8-week period. 6 case studies will be up. It'll expand to 11 over time because there are 11 sectors of the S&P 500, but the first 6 coming up to consumer discretionary materials, real estate, financials, consumer staples, information technology. And this is a sort of a description of the sector, the economic factors that affect that sector, the major ETFs in that sector, and from the ETFs we can get to the components. So it's really a top-down analysis of these 6 particular sectors, which flows nicely into Module 3, which is Applied Macro and Top-Down Analysis. That will be uploaded between mid-October to the end of December of this year. Then it'll be followed with Module 4, which is an Applied Bottom-Up Analysis, January and February, the first 2 months of 2023. Futures and options on futures will be mid-August 23 to mid-October 23, and Applied Forex will be next November to December. There will be 6 modules in there in total. Right now, the Applied Series course costs $275 Canadian, and you get access to all of these modules as they are released. It's $275 CAD till August 3rd at 8:30 a.m. And then, of course, all our pricing switches over to US. So starting August 3rd at 11:30 a.m., the pricing will then be $220 US. And that price will only last till September 14th. On September 15th, the price goes to $320 because as I add modules, the price goes up. However, if you buy it at $275, you don't, that's it, you're in. So it's a call option on all the other modules because you don't have to pay as it increases in price. If this is something you want, adding it before September 14th gets you in at $220. As I add each module, the price will continue to rise. In time, each of these will be priced separately so that you can just take the section you want. They'll all be priced separately, or there'll be one price for all of them that'll be roughly about 40% lower than buying each of them individually. Basically what this is meant to be, is imagine that you took the 3 levels of CFA and you said, okay, well, instead of writing this for an institutional analyst or an institutional asset manager, what if it were written for a retail investor? They don't have access to the same information, nor do they have access to the same types of securities, nor do they manage portfolios in the same way as an institutional manager would manage one. They don't have access to the same kind of funding costs. They don't have access to the same type of market, or at least the market size and the market levels that a retail investor, the retailer doesn't have that access that the institutional investor has. What if it were written for the retail investor? And then how is it applied? So it's the combination of rewriting everything for a retail investor and then at the same time applying it. So that's why it is called the Applied. So we have Applied Options, we have some case studies, Applied Macro, Applied Bottom-Up Analysis, Applied Futures, and Applied Forex. The subscription is it lasts till December 2024. Everything will be up by the end of December 2023, and in 2024, it will be updates to particular sections. As I go along, I may find, you know what, I can do this a little bit better. Let me add a couple more companies in here to do a bottom-up analysis on. Let's add a new futures contract here. Maybe, sugar might be interesting at that point. Sugar's nowhere right now. No one pays attention to it, but maybe, in a year and a half, everyone's talking about sugar. and sugar futures. Maybe there's something, I don't know, so I'll update that over 2024. But your access lasts till December 2024. And when I say it lasts till December 24, that means as I update this, you get the updates all the way to 2024. Starting January 1st, 2025, you still keep your access to everything, but you no longer get any new updates for it. So any subscriber now has it till the end of 2024, which is 2.5 years of access. Again, just so that you are aware, this is already up. This will start mid-August, so in about 2.5 weeks, these will start to go up about every 10 days or so. There'll be a new case study up. So, if you subscribe, say, hey, I thought I was going to get all of this stuff. Yeah, well, here are the dates. So don't hit me up with that email saying, hey, you're ripping me off. No. It's going to be released over that period of time. One is already done. The other thing that you could think of is FRM, the Financial Risk Manager. If you are on our site, at the top of the screen, you'll see CFA, you'll see FRM, and you'll see the Applied Option Series. If you click on FRM, it will lead you to all the offerings by Bionic Turtle. There's Part 1 and Part 2 for FRM. If you completed Level 3 CFA, you basically done about 75% of Level 1. FRM. You're basically done about 75% of it already, and there is quite a bit of overlap at Level 2. Not as much as at Level 1, but I think it's like 30% of Level 2 you'd already be familiar with anyway. So given that there's that intersection set between CFA and FRM, if you're looking at collecting initials, because some people like all those initials, if you're looking at collecting a few more initials, I think that the next useful one would be FRM. Beyond that, that's it. I hope to at least see you here every Sunday. That's it.